Hello, my name is Chris Morrow, and this is a journal update sort of thing. Let's see. Last spring I installed a prairie using plants from Prairie Nursery and Prairie Nursery, which very similar sounding name. And this is the result of those two plants, and also I'll be featuring other things like just other plants that I've gotten at local stores that were native, as well as some fruit trees later on. So here we have Western Spiderwort, which is probably the only thing flowering right now, pretty much. Let's see, I had Jacob's Ladder, which is a small blue flower you'll see later on. That was blooming, sort of, but there really wasn't enough of it in this like meadow planting that I have to really warrant me filming it. But that got some bee attention too, and I always like to point out the native plants. A lot of beekeepers, they go nuts planting non-native plants, and it's like some of them are on the noxious species list. Like, it's really a bad habit, I think. And if I could just encourage people to plant natives instead of non-natives, then I feel like I've done my part here. So again, this is it's springtime. Prairie plants, they usually don't bloom until over the summertime. And down here you can see the Jacob's Ladder flower and the Western Spiderwort. In the afternoon, that thing closes right up. There is soft leaves of Meadow Leotris, and that was a milkweed back there. Aromatic aster right there. Showy goldenrod in combination. There's some type of aster. I have coneflowers with the heart leaves on the ground there. There's a young baptisia, or false indigo. Another Meadow Leotris, which I'm glad to see they're doing something, because that plant is a monarch magnet. They're just like, you can find videos on YouTube all over with the people who have Meadow Leotris. There are usually like dozens of monarchs around there. So let's see. There's a tall Coreopsis taking up the most of the frame here, and I'm zooming in now. That blooms later on in the year. Coreopsis, they're about to start flowering, so I'll probably have a video up later on. In a couple weeks or so of that. Let's see, that little hairy thing there is a Amsonia, the thin leaves. And moving over to another garden over here, I have a plant that no one really sells at nurseries, but I was glad I found it. I went on a plant buying trip, and we went to like a farm that was selling this. It's Buckeye, the white flowering version that flowers usually in June, July, though of course we're 4 weeks ahead this year because of, well, we didn't really have winter. Yeah. Here is, I really don't know what to say about this garden quite yet, other than there's some Coreopsis about the flower, and everything else is either a goldenrod or something else I planted. But this leafy thing in the middle here, I know leafy thing really helps. That is wild sienna. And down here I'm touching a rattlesnake master, which is not a plant that I'm very happy with. That's New Jersey tea, but Rattlesnake Master, it actually, I started with 4 of them, only 1 survived the winter, and then, like, they just, I like it when they flower, but I just can't get them to establish well. Here's a butterfly weed, or milkweed, which is about to flower in another couple of weeks. Quick shot of, okay, this plant I should know the name of. You know what, I'll just put it on the screen or something, because it's just, It's like a lupin, but it's not. It has more in common with false indigo, has yellow flowers. Let's see, down here is a goldenrod. The cultivar is golden fleece. I forget what the species name actually is. There is a New England aster, which I'm trying to get more of. And I think I have a, not the parent plant, but a larger specimen of that. This one always grows nice and big, and it's the one I usually photograph every autumn. And another thing I found, another rare find to see at a nursery, Franklinia. This is a native tree that's extinct in the wild, and I got one. They're cold hardy in New Jersey. They are otherwise restricted to like a single pasture or something out in Georgia, but they just they don't grow wild. They're not really reproducing and doing their thing here. So here we have some fruit trees. That was native plum. This is, what are we looking at? Oh, this is a persimmon tree, a young sapling, which, I gotta say, branches on that thing, don't touch them. They will just snap right off at the slightest little flick. But that's gonna flower this year. I'm getting lots of fruit here. This is a button bush, which also you don't see sold very often, but when you do, I encourage you to buy it. And you can't really tell, but at the end of each leaf area here where all the new growth is poking out, it's going to produce like a little flower. Well, dozens of flowers in the shape of a little ball that just poke out in every direction. It's a neat way to go here. I'm trying to establish some blanket flowers here to help get rid of the grass's competition. There is tall goldenrod right there, and then there's Clethra alnifolia there, and between the two is the Joe Pyeweed, hollow stem Joe Pyeweed. Down here we have shooting star next to some type of sedum, which is not native, and here we have a rose, which I forget the name of, but it seems common. But I have that right next to the Baptisia, false indigo. And I did that specifically to play off the color. And this is not really a meadow garden, but I have native plants mixed in here and there, and it's a work in progress, despite being older. I didn't use plugs, I just tried using things. And what I'm playing with here is a Queen of the Prairie, which I hope it actually does something, because I had this plant originally in a drier spot, like back where the Buckeye was, but that place it dries out, and Queen of the Prairie, it's actually a wetland plant, so you want that to stay wet, and it gets like 9 feet tall, and when it finally flowers and does its thing there. So here we have blackberries, thornless blackberry, and I had 4 plants here, 2 of one type and 2 of another type, and the other one type actually did not survive the winter. They were not cold hardy, so that's tragic. But anyway, I wish I filmed this on a different day, because I was out here and there were bees all over the thing, and there were all these pill bugs, as I call them, or potato bugs. They're like little, really, really tiny beetles that they're covered in spots. So there's that, and I'm gonna get loads of fruit off these. I actually don't like blackberries too much, but, you know, it's something else to try. I think they're best served if you dip them in cream or something, some sort of dairy product with them, or put them with cake or something. They have like a bitter taste to them. And here we're trying to focus in on some baby mantids, praying mantises, and there was actually 5 eggs that I located in my yard over the winter time. And right down here is probably the egg case that they hatched out of. I believe like about 50 come out of one of those. I've never been around when it happens, though. They all kind of crawl out one by one. But when it happens, you usually see lots of praying mantises all over the place, and they're doing a good job of keeping everything in check, pretty much. And in the absence of insects to eat, they will start cannibalizing each other. So you're not going to end up with 50 praying mantises. Strawberries, probably one of the easiest perennial fruits to grow. It's a little runner vine, and I love it. Right here is the nectarine tree, which, unfortunately, it's not a disease-resistant variety, so I've had to start spraying it with some sort of fungicide. It gets, I think it's called peach leaf curl, which I think I zoom in on a leaf or something later on, but I want to get fruit off of this tree at some point, because as big as it is, I have never actually gotten a fruit to ripen all the way, and do its thing. Despite me pruning it, despite me, taking off the little ones that are just sucking the energy off, it's I don't know, if this doesn't work, me spraying it, I'm just gonna get rid of the tree and change over to something else. Because I can't see spraying chemicals on this and having no effect. And you can even see, like, a lot of the fruit, it's damaged, and it's doing that thing where they start producing crystals on the sores of all the fruit, and I don't know what to, what more I can do. Like, so if I, like, this tree, its days are numbered if it doesn't start producing something. Other gardens that I have here, and, let's see, we're going around, where are we going? Ah, gooseberry. This is another plant almost no one sells for various legal reasons. But I'm happy with it. I mean, there's no real insects that go on here, and, like, look at all the fruit, I think a blueberry could actually produce more, but, like, for a fruit that you really don't need to do that much with, it really, I think that's a red gooseberry, and I noticed it started producing way more fruit when I finally got, like, a second one around. They're not wind-pollinated, but the flowers sure look like something that's wind-pollinated. And there is a, what was that? Larval stage to a ladybug, which is kind of disturbing looking. It's like a little crocodile compact thing. And this is the apple tree that we're looking at now, and you can see some of the leaves are curled up. And there's a type of aphid. Normally I don't care about aphids, but these ones, I actually noticed an entire branch of apples were actually dying off because of what was going on inside here, and I have no idea what that black thing was that just jumped out of the leaf, but hopefully Hopefully it wasn't anything bad. Most likely it was an ant that just kind of ran off. Because ants will, the aphids are forming like a protective shed, but at the same time though, they're producing dew, or honeydew, for to attract some ants, and we have carpenter ants here. This is Camponotus pensavonicus, eastern black carpenter ant. You can tell pretty much because it's all black. Also, they have gray or brown hairs all over the gaster area, or abdomen, as if you're not keeping up with terminology. And inside of this leaf here, as it curls up, it's full of aphids, and they're the ones that produced all this chemical to actually get. They made the leaf basically curl up on itself, and biologists, they call this like a shed, and I guess that kind of works out. I think biologists do that. Anyway, here is a full-blown ladybug, and you can't really tell, but it's growing. It's infected with some sort of disease. If you notice, there are like little yellow things growing out of it, and still alive, but yeah, still kicking, hanging in there. But I mean, I think it's gonna eventually just rot out and die completely, which is unfortunate. So up here, there was some sort of a soldier beetle slash lightning bug mimic that I get lots of those around. I think they're soldier beetles. Don't quote me on that. And going back over here, we have the native plum tree, which is Prunus americanus. I think I did a better job of looking at the fruit the first time around, but we're back here. I like the tree. I accidentally bought 2 because I didn't know that they were... Actually, I accidentally bought 4 because I didn't know they were sold in pairs. And they need that for pollination purposes, but they're also rhizomious, which is kind of unusual for a tree, but basically they produce root suckers. So it produces like a clone of itself out here, and this is another plant that I've never gotten fruit off of, but I'm spraying it this year. So hopefully that changes. And this is one of those crazy 5-in-1 fruit trees. I think it's apricot, peach, nectarine, and 2 types of plum, or some combination of that. But you know, all those fruits are related, so you can actually just graft them right onto one another. And you can see the leaves here have like this red stuff on there. That's it's like a tumorous-looking bubbled up sores or something. And hopefully, what I'm spraying on here is actually doing something about that, because I'm kind of annoyed if it isn't. A problem with these 5-in-1 fruit trees is you don't know how to prune them. Like, I don't know what fruit's on what tree, so it's kind of an issue. Right, so over here we have the milkweed garden, going back to fruits. At least it started as a milkweed garden. I had nothing but Asclepias incarnata, swamp milkweed, planted in there, and then I just started adding to it as they started dying off and reproducing in different places. This is another New Jersey tea, and I'm doing this to show off that it has a yellow stem, but it looks identical to the mountain mint, pretty much, that's growing next to it, which is kind of, I don't want to say aggressive spreading, because I can just pull each of those stems right on out of there, but, you know, it's, you know. Yeah, I wish I had more New Jersey tea, basically is what I'm saying. So here we're coming to the end of the video here, and I have all these violets and things, trilliums and such. This is a pipe vine, a native pipe vine, which is another one you don't really see sold that much, but it's also the host plant to the pipe vine swallowtail, which is the one swallowtail that's actually poisonous. And presumably in the presence of that, birds stop eating other swallowtails, so it presumably boosts the population for all that. So, this has been a garden tour with Chris Merrow, and I will check in later with more things, and of course I have a blog, AnsBeesButterfliesNatured at blogspot.com. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.